Harry Soreff, born in 1887, was a mild-mannered industrial giant who over the course of his lifetime would come to hold over 80 patents for locks and lock-making machinery. He was also the founder of the Master Lock Company, which by the time of his death was selling its products in over 100 countries. Harry used to say that there will always be a demand for padlocks. When conditions grow bad, the business actually gets better, because people will want to lock up their stuff. But how did this genius get his start? Harry was the oldest of 3 boys, and the only one of his siblings to be born in Russia. His father immigrated to the United States and worked hard to earn enough money to bring his wife and child to America to join him. His parents had heard about America being a place where freedom prevailed and jobs were plenty. But it was not so easy to make a living here. When Harry was 19 or so, he grew restless. He wanted to see the world and travel. So he and a buddy decided to adopt a sort of hobo lifestyle and ride the rails, heading west. He headed west with his friend in this way for a while, until one fateful day. Harry and his friend were climbing on the top of the train as they often did. The train went around a fast curve, and Harry's friend fell off. Harry never heard from him again and was never told if his friend had survived the accident. Harry, now alone, continued on to California, but he could not find a job. He bummed around for a while and then thought of a way to see different cities. Harry joined the Ringling Brothers Circus. He eventually became what is known as an advance man. An advance man is someone who traveled ahead of the circus's travel schedule and would put up posters to promote the circus. He would also help pick where the circus was going to park. At some point, Harry bought or received a little bear which would travel with him, until the point where he could no longer care for it, and the bear stayed with the circus. After a year or two, Harry got tired of this lifestyle and returned to Milwaukee. A friend invited Harry to open a bedding store with him called the Globe Bedding Company. After a time, they would close that store, and the two partners opened a furniture store. Harry quickly realized that he did not enjoy the furniture business. His cousin owned a locksmithing business, so Harry went to work for him instead. At this point in history, there were no automobiles, and many people rode bikes. Harry began to notice that flat tires were plentiful. He also knew that at that time, replacing a tire was very expensive. So, using everyday rubber bands, Harry devised a method of fixing tires, a method which is still used by many to this day. Harry wanted to patent his idea, but wasn't a big fan of paperwork. The cousin Harry was working for told him that he knew an attorney and that he would handle the patent. A few months later, Harry asked his cousin what had happened to the patent, but his cousin only mumbled. Harry realized his cousin had stolen his idea. When he confronted his cousin became angry, telling Harry, "Well, you're working for me. I pay your salary, and you invented this on my time." Harry responded, "I have many other ideas, but if this is the kind of person you are, I don't want to be associated with you. I'm leaving." Harry worked for other lock and key shops, but they kept firing him for insisting on dismantling the merchandise to show the boss how shoddy it was. Later on, Harry would say that he admired an employee who could figure out a better way of doing things. Harry had a family to support, and he didn't know what to do. He rented a little office, and after a bit of tinkering, decided to make a set of 5 master keys that could open any lock. The sale of these keys upset the police, but made Harry financially independent enough to begin developing a new type of padlock. Until this time, locks were generally flimsy, simple shells that could be broken relatively easily. This new padlock was designed to be far more sturdy, constructed in much the same way as bank vaults and battleships, with layered steel plates around the outside. Harry first tried selling his invention to the already well-entrenched lock companies of the day. At the time, however, these manufacturers didn't grasp the value that Harry saw in a more durable lock. Undaunted, Harry filed for his own patent on his invention, and he founded the Master Lock Company in 1921. He spent the next few years developing a lock that could be efficiently manufactured and sold. In 1924, his patent was granted, and the first Master Lock factory opened its doors. This one-room factory only included one drill press, one punch press, and one grinder. It wasn't until 1939 that Master Lock moved to its current plant. By the time of Harry's death, the factory had grown to cover 6 acres and had 600 employees. But no matter how large the factory became, Harry wanted no time clocks to punch, nor piecework quotas. The factory was comfortable and roomy, designed by the man the employees would greet as Harry. Harry believed that many companies failed because the boss didn't pay enough attention to his employees. Harry would often get to the factory at 5 a.m. and sometimes stay on the job until late at night. He once said, "I even dream about padlocks." At the expense of a few headaches, the company's product line grew to adjust to the diversity of the world. There would be adjustments to improve the lock's resistance to things like salt water, desert sand, and Arctic cold. Each newly discovered weakness was brought to the master himself, and each and every time he would sit and ponder the problem until a solution was reached. Master locks were used on submarines, igloos, airplanes, and even jail doors. The warden of a penitentiary once claimed an inmate had picked a master lock and escaped. Harry flew to the scene. Once the prisoner was captured, Harry asked him how he did it, hoping to fix the flaw in the master lock. To the warden's embarrassment, the prisoner admitted he had stolen a key from a guard, carved a duplicate key from a spoon, and returned the key to the unsuspecting guard. Harry's incredible genius even led him to being sought out by Harry Houdini for advice on his escapes. Harry Soreff was so talented he could listen to the tumblers in a bank vault and tell when they clicked. He could open any safe, but he kept this a secret because he was afraid he might be accused of robbing a bank. However, Harry was not all work and no play. He loved to travel to Las Vegas, where he became friends with Bugsy Siegel, a known gangster of the day. Bugsy wanted Harry to join him in investing in the now famous Flamingo Hotel and Casino. Harry considered it, but was ultimately a bit apprehensive about getting involved with a known criminal, and eventually declined. Harry was a man many still admire. One man's ingenious idea has become the lock-making giant the Master Lock Company is today. Master Lock exploded onto the public scene after their now famous 1967 commercial, shown on the NBC Today and Tonight shows, in which Master Lock withstands a bullet from a .44 Magnum pistol. This display of toughness proved to be an effective marketing tool and became a cornerstone of the Master Lock Company image with the launch of their Tough Under Fire commercial in 1974.
With this high-powered .30 caliber rifle, we're going to try to blast open this Master Lock model number 15. We blew a half-inch hole clear through, but the Master Lock still holds tight. If you want to hold on to what you've got, insist on genuine Master Locks, known for being tough under fire.
Through the years, Master Lock would grow and introduce several other types of locks, including combination locker locks, super security padlocks, rekeyable locks, and door hardware. Harry died in 1957, and although he never lived to see just how big his company would truly become, he left behind 5 children and their families. The story of Harry Soreff and Master Lock is very much the story of the American dream. It is the story of how one man with enough talent, ambition, and perseverance can take a small idea and turn it into an empire that has endured long after his death. Master Lock continues its work of producing high-quality, durable locks to this day. Harry Soreff's tale and the story of Master Lock beautifully illustrate what one man's tinkering can blossom into.